All right, what's good? DJ Podcast. What are we feeling today?
I don't know.
You're feeling pretty good?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm Jackson. This is David. Start of a new series, right?
Yep.
New series. So, what we're going to be doing on this is we're going to be talking about some of the stupidest things we have ever done in our entire life. Or what other people, or things we witnessed.
Things we experienced.
That we experienced.
Yeah.
What about the time when we went to Grace's house?
Yeah.
Well, how do we meet? How do we meet them? Should we start out with that?
Yeah. So then they get more depth of the story.
Yeah, more
background.
more depth of the story.
We were at my lake lot, and we were having a fire, and we invited Olivia and Grace over, and they brought a couple people over. And it was fun. We just hung out. And then after that, they left, went home, and then me and Olivia started talking.
Keep in mind,
talking.
I'm a pretty innocent guy, right? I don't do a lot of bad things. I don't talk to girls. I kind of sit home, play video games, hang out with the boys, right? And they kept saying, "Yo, one of these girls like you. Yo, one of these girls." Yep. One of these girls, and I was just thinking they're just messing with it, right? And I don't know how to talk to girls, right? So when this was happening, when David invited, we can say her name, right?
Yeah,
Olivia. Who cares? When David invited Olivia, they're now dating. But when they invited her, I was observing the resources, right? I was just seeing what was laying down. I was seeing what the biddy usage was, right?
Yeah.
Scanning the horizon. So when that happened, they kept talking about Grace, and I was like, all right. I mean, I don't remember what she looked like because it was dark outside, clearly, but. And then that happened, yeah.
And then after that, me and Olivia were talking, and then me and Jackson got into discussion of how cool would it be for two friends to date two friends,
Or cousins even, family reunion.
Yeah.
They're cousins, yeah. Family reunion. 2 in 1
it's
special.
It's not like incest or anything, but they were cousins with us.
Yeah. Real quick. I noticed David slipped up. David said that they were cousins to us. No, they weren't. Those two... The 2 girls, they were cousins, and me and David are best friends. There was no incest going on. No, there wasn't, all right? Thank you so much for understanding.
And then, and so we were all talking, and then we decided that we were going to go to Grace's house. And we get there, what time did we get there about?
Oh, dude, it was pretty late. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
You got back from your retreat or whatever.
I got back from MEPS, and then right after that, I went over to Grace's with Jackson.
Yeah, it was 6 o'clock.
Yep. And we got there. We were hanging out, whatever. And then we decided that we were going to go to Cloud right away. And then we went to Chick-fil-A.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That was a good spicy chicken.
It was good chicken.
And then
there were some people there making TikToks that we kind of just jumped in a little bit.
I know.
And then I
know those
awkward.
kids, dude.
Yep.
It got really awkward because they're like, oh, how you doing? I gave them a couple hugs, me. They observing the biddy usage, gave the girls some hugs. And then they kind of looked at us. And then we looked at them.
And we just kind of left.
And then we just left, yeah.
And so we're on our way back. And, when I was driving, you need to give me the directions in advance.
Oh.
Or I get so pissed off. I'm driving down the road, and then Grace is like, can we pick up laundry detergent? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And all of a sudden, she's like, turn here. And I was at the lights in the other lane. And so I had to go all the way down to Papa Yui. Got laundry detergent.
Dude, when I tell you this kid was dude, he didn't talk to us for a solid 5 minutes. He was dead quiet, hands on steering wheel, focused on the road. It was just, things just didn't need to be that hard. And I respect that. But,
yeah.
But...
And then we got back to Grace's. What time was that?
Oh, dude, it had to be 9:30, 10 o'clock. Because Chick-fil-A closes at 9, right?
I think.
We got there 30 minutes before, because remember, they're yelling at us.
Oh, yeah. And then we get back, and we just went down to Grace's room and started hanging out, right? And we watched movie, whatever, until it had to have been 4 in the morning.
Oh, and dude, at least.
All of a sudden, we start hearing some going on upstairs. And
keep in mind though, me and David, not really David, but I'm pretty innocent. Like I say, I don't know how to talk to girls. I don't know what to do. So we didn't even know what time it was because we didn't want to spend the night or stay late, you know? We had no idea what time it was.
Yep. And all of a sudden, we start hearing some rustling upstairs. And then Grace is like, oh, that must be my dad. And, like, she never told her parents.
That we were staying, like...
That late. She told them that we were there.
Because we checked our phones, right? And I looked at David. David, you looked at me. And when we checked our phones, it was a secret special ops mission to get out of that room.
I remember we ran out of the room, ran across the hall, and hid behind I think it was like a foosball table. And we were sitting there for how long? And then we had to go out the back door, run through the grass while they grabbed our shoes. Mm-hmm. Got in my car.
Oh, they were like, do not turn on the car. Like, do not turn it on. Do not turn it on. Whatever you do not turn it on. We'll give you the go-ahead. The second we get in that car, we whipped that sucker so far on. And I didn't think your car started right away, so it would like, and started putting in gear. We just got out of there, dude. Yeah. It was a good mission.
It was. And keeping in mind, like, I never told my mom that I was going to be out that late.
Your mom just went to bed.
My mom just went to bed. She didn't know where I was, basically. And we got back at my house at like 4:30. And my stepdad usually gets up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock to go to work. And I didn't want to go into the house and have him see me and then him tell my mom. So we chilled in my car for like 10 minutes.
Oh, it was not 10 minutes.
How long?
It had to be way more than that. We sat there and we plotted. Like, we were like thinking, okay, so if we do this, then we do that. Okay, what if he wakes up? Well, then we'll go through a window. This kid lives on the second story of the house.
Yeah.
So it's
in a creaky ass old farmhouse. And we just walked in the house, ran into my room, and that was it. Mom never asked me about it.
Yeah, the bathroom light was on too.
Yeah, it's usually on because Simon goes down, takes a piss, and doesn't flush his toilet.
A few moments later.
So, sorry, we had to take a quick beverage break. Sponsored by Pepsi.
We wish.
No, but David, I do have a serious question for you. And this is just going to be a side note on all the stories. Yep. Something kind of random, right? I got a serious question for you. What's with the mustache?
Well, you see, so I used to have the whole corral.
The whole works.
All the works going on, right? And so I was talking to this person. She will rename nameless. I think you can know her. And she was like, you should shave your face. And I'm like, no,
nameless girl. I know who nameless girl is.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, right? I grew it out the whole quarantine. Beard and chin had been like down to right here.
Look at this dude. Wait.
Right?
It was the more... Okay, it's like, when you look at it, you're like, what the hell is that? But then you can't stop looking at it.
Exactly.
But then the more you look at it, you're like, okay, that actually looks pretty good.
Like, it draws in the crowd, you know?
It's like you'd be walking down the street and all the biddies are looking at you, know?
Exactly. That's why I had it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Finally I gave in. I simped pretty hard, not gonna lie. But it was out of September, so
out of September, yep.
And I shaved the chin, but I'm like, I'm not shaving my mustache.
You're not shaving
I'm not shaving. That will not go. And so now it's to the point where the reason I have it is when I have a baby face, I look like I'm 12. You know what I mean? And like, now that I'm in the Army, this is the only thing I can keep. So I'm going to keep it, and I need to keep it for my senior pictures.
Yep, that is true.
Yep. And so I did make a promise to a person that I would shave it at a certain point in time, but that date I don't think can be released.
It cannot be released?
No.
For another episode?
For another episode.
Yep. I was just wondering because that would be the first thing. If I was to watch this, I'd be like, what the is with the mustache? Like, no offense. All right. But, anyways. So, I don't remember this to the precise T, but I remember it pretty precisely. It was a pretty cold November day. All I know is that, you know what, David, what I really want? We got work program, and in work program, you got an hour early to go to work, right? So in school, you get out an hour early, you go to work. All you have to do is work 5 hours a week. It could be during the weekends or whatever. So, like, I didn't work that day, and I was like, David, I really want McDonald's, right? We call it the old Coburn Special. And that's for a different episode, right? The old Coburn Special.
Yep.
But just keep in mind, that is where you just call in sick or something like that.
Don't go to work.
You just don't go to work. But I wasn't pulling the Coburn Special because I actually didn't work that day. So I was like, David, hear me out. What if we go to McDonald's? And you're like, dude, don't you have practice? I'm like, yeah, I got practice at 3:30?
Yep.
And I go, but what if, hypothetically, of course, your mom calls you out. Hypothetically, right?
Mm-hmm.
You begged your mom, begged her. And she always said no. But this time, there's just something about this time. She literally said yes and called David out. And it was an hour before. Our classes are 55-minute pieces. And this class was an hour before. So, if that makes sense, he got called out an hour. So, there was like 5 to 10 minutes of downtime, right?
Yeah.
And I gave him my keys to take my car out for a little drive, right? And wait for me and pick me up. You know, I remember I'm sitting there and it's cold out. You know, I looking like a driving down or whatever, walking down. I wasn't driving, but I was walking down looking for my car over and over and over again. And these kids are just watching me while I'm going walking. They're just watching me. At the moment in time, I'm just they can see me. I'm stomping the ground, trying to get a hold of David, right? Turns out that I couldn't find him, right? And meanwhile, I've been looking for him for 20 minutes. Or it could have been 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I started walking home. Because I live about 2 blocks away from the school. And I'm just looking down, kicking the snow, you know, because my car's missing. Like, I trusted this kid he literally had 10 minutes. 10 minutes to pick me up. It's like his first or second time driving my car. And I get home, and I'm still trying to get hold of him. Mom goes, Jackson, why'd you walk home? Like, where's your car? I'm like, Mom, I just wanted to, because I was gonna yell at the boy, because I know there had to be a reasonable excuse. And you know, I sat there and I was like, yeah, I just wanted to walk home. And like, now I'm sitting here at home trying to get a hold of David. Then all of a sudden, I get a phone call from David.
I'll take over.
You take over from here.
I get into the car, right,
and
I was cold as shit. So like, I started it obviously, and I drove. And I was just driving around, waiting for you, because I was bored and cold, whatever.
Real quick, it's a little 4-cylinder Honda Civic 2002.
Yeah.
So you have to get the thing going to give it heat.
Here's my excuse. That car, it was just a bad car.
It's a pimp.
I'm used to like the V6 or V8 engine. I'm in an inline 4, you know, and I'm just bebopping down the road. And
there's snow and ice everywhere.
Yeah. In this town, there's a lot of curves on certain roads, and I was on one of them roads. And I'm going around the curve. I will admit, it was a little fast. I was kind of trying to do a drift, and it just, like, gave out, and I went like this right into, like, some guy's, like, ditch that's
in town.
Apart.
In town. He didn't even take the satisfaction of doing it out of town.
It was right in town, like, middle of the town. And so there's me for the next 30 minutes or 10 minutes trying to dig it out by hand by myself. And I will admit, I did break your ice scraper, but I don't think I ever told you that.
That was you?
Yeah.
Are you serious? You're the one that broke my ice scraper?
Yes. The little black one.
Are you serious?
Anyways, continuing on.
No, wait, hold up. You're telling me this. You don't know how long it took me to figure out why that ice breaker wouldn't work. You might be wondering in this clip, why are you so mad about an ice scraper? Because in Minnesota, it's kind of like Canada. There's snow in 9 months. Imagine what your windshield looks like. You always need to have one of these suckers, or else you have to use a credit card. David, as you can see in this one, clearly doesn't have one, so he doesn't know how to use it properly. And he broke his credit card one time.
Yeah, I broke that. I broke it right into
You could have told me that, dude. I still think about that. It's in my room right now. I can go get it.
Here's the thing. You were so pissed off when I actually showed up. I didn't want to make you any more pissed off.
Yeah, because what do you tell me? You're like, what do you tell me? Because you didn't tell me the truth at first.
Oh, I told you. Yeah, I went in the ditch.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I just straight up was at it. Because I knew if I would have pulled an excuse, you would have like got even more mad. And,
I was like,
figured it out.
It's been 20 minutes, too. So if he would have came home, he would have been back here already.
Exactly. But anyways, continuing on. I'm working at this. I can't get it. And then I go into this old guy's house. I go up there and I knock on it. Because I can't get this car out of the ditch.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't have my phone on me. And I ask him if he's got any tools, anything I can use. And
Keep in mind, in a Honda Civic 2000, I'm not a handyman, right? there's no reason to spend money on tools and put that in that car, because the tools you spend on that car that you spend to put into it is already worth more than the car.
Yeah,
Let's might as well just can it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why. But I'm a pretty good driver. I don't put cars in the ditch.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Anyways, continuing on. So this old guy yells at me to go into his shed and grab his tools. It was like a shovel and like a spade and stuff like that. And then he comes out and helps me. And we finally get it out. And then he's like, alrighty, thank you. And I'm like, yep, bye. And I just remember that whole car ride back to see Jackson. I was just trying to think of every excuse possible, right? Like the best excuse. And then after a while, I'm like, I'll just tell him what happened. And so I did.
Yeah.
And then he was mad for like the day, but then I think after he just really didn't.
I was like more, like, don't get me wrong, I was a little upset, but like I was just more happy that there was no damage, and that you were honest, and that you were okay, of course. No, I was more happy that like you were honest.
Yeah.
I think that was the reason why I wasn't as mad. Since we're on the topic about cars, since let's just hypothetically we're on the topic of cars, right?
Yep.
You know, there was this one time, you know, I was driving with my friend, you know, Josie. I can say her name, right? I'm not throwing her shade, right? And, you know, her mom is like one of the most lenient moms I've seen, but still like strict at the same time. I think that's like most moms though. Yeah. But like she's strict when it comes to like going into like a big city, you know, because she's worried about her kid, you know, but she's not really too strict about like things that goes on. But that's when I first got my license. I was like 16. I still was 16. We're 17 right now, so
yeah.
But that's when we were still 16. So I got my license, right? I picked her up because she's not anymore, but she just lives 2 houses down. She used to, and I went to go pick her up. You know, I go for a little drive, and her mom was like, "Stay in the city, don't go too far." And at the time, you know, I understand why Josie would respect that, right? Respect her mom. But the thing about it, the city we live in actually go like the country, because it's like 1,000 people here tops, right? Probably 700. I don't remember what the sign says, but the city limits actually go a little bit into the country too. So when we left the city, I guess you could say it's a township.
Yeah.
We were leaving it, right? We just leave the inner part of the city, and we were leaving, and all of a sudden, Josie's like, "No, you can't go there. You can't leave the city. You can't leave the city. No, Mom says no. Mom says no." And she wouldn't shut up about it. I was like, "Josie, literally, we could just turn around up here." "No, Mom says no. Mom says no." And I'm like, "Oh my God, okay, fine." And so it looked like it was like an inch of snow, right? It was about 3 feet of snow, and I go to turn around in it. So I slam on the brakes, go to turn around, but it because it's an inch above the road, so I figured the road was just a little bit of the shoulder, because you know how it goes the shoulder a little bit tar. No, it doesn't. So when I went in there, car sunk 3 feet deep. All of a sudden, I literally look at her. She looks at me, and I just say, "We're like, there is nothing we can do about this. Like, there is nothing we can do about this. Like, her mom's gonna know we left the city and we're screwed." But by the time, there's cars passing by us, and we're sitting there hiding like this, like so cars wouldn't see us. But then all of a sudden, this truck stops, right? This truck stops. No, actually, it was a van. It was a van, because he is like, "Okay, well, we're gonna get the truck to get you out, right?" So he pulled the truck, you know, eventually got us out, right? And we shook his hand, you know, and then we left, and we told her mom about it. Her mom was really chill about that. So I remember telling that to David, and David's like, "Only gay people get stuck in the ditch." Like, oh, just making fun of me, right? What a shove about it, because that's what he does. When he makes fun of me, he keeps going, because he knows it makes me mad. He just keeps saying it, right? And, you know, I go home, and I'm like, "I'm not that gay. I'm not that gay. It wasn't even my fault, right? It wasn't my fault. It was hers." Just to clear some stuff up, this is how we talk, all right? We mean no offense to anyone that is homosexual or anything like that. That is just how we talk, so please don't take it to offend. All of a sudden, I kid you not, about like 6 hours later, I get a phone call from David.
Is that the time you put the white truck in the
ditch? Yeah. He gives me a phone call, and he goes, "Dude, I just put the truck in the ditch."
But here's my explanation.
Oh, let's hear it. I thought only gay people go in the ditch, David.
Here's the situation. Now, I didn't clarify, I guess you could say, to the extent that I should have.
Mm-hmm.
I meant it like, if you're not trying to either drift, do a shitty, or do something cool in the vehicle in the snow, and you go in the ditch, that's
Yeah.
acceptable, you know?
You never made that clear.
But if you're just driving on a road and you go to turn around and you sink your car, that makes you pretty gay. But like,
No.
I have video evidence of me gunning it and trying to like floor it and like swing the ass end around, and I did. But I just gave her a little bit too much beans, and you got to see those tires. They don't have any tread on them. Like, there is nothing.
Where is it right now?
It's by a garage with a flat tire and the battery out. Anyway.
You just parked it somewhere and left it?
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, and so I went in the ditch because it just all swung out and just I went around side. I must have been there for like a half hour, and I had to go to a basketball game that night. So, like, I had
to bring Josie home on time.
There was stuff that needed to be done, right? And finally, my stepdad's brother was driving by, and he seen me, and he pulled me out, whatever. And then he must have not realized it was me, you know? Because he never told my parents. And then, all of a sudden, he was over for a chili party we had.
A chili party.
And he's like, "Oh, you're Jim's stepkid?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I remember pulling you out of the ditch." And then
right
Mom there,
there.
and she's like, "When'd you go in the ditch, David?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just messing around and, went in the ditch." She's like, "Oh, okay, blah, blah." She was already...
Oh, because your Monte Carlo was out, right? So
Yep,
you had to bring
the Monte was out, yep.
Dude, that was hard on the gas mileage. I remember that.
Yeah, it was rough times.
And you had to drive to Coburn's in that thing?
No, I didn't drive to Coburn in that thing.
Oh, you just never went to work?
I either took Alex's car or I didn't go to work.
The old Coburn Special. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it.
Get into the Coburn Special?
Get into the Coburn Special.
Okay, so here's the Coburn Special. It's when you work that day at Coburn's and you hate the job so much because it's the repetitive scanning or putting into a bag.
Wait, real quick. I don't know if all of them are going to know what Coburn's is. I don't know. I think it's just in Minnesota or around the Midwest.
There's some.
So just a heads up, Coburn's will be like literally an old person Walmart with just food in it.
Yeah, it's a Walmart with just food.
And it's usually for old people because they usually have like discounts on like Sundays and stuff
and it's
like that.
A lot of off-brand foods. It's like they have on-brand foods, but they also specialize.
It's usually like their own brand, right?
Yeah,
their Cub Food brand.
Yeah, whatever it is. I don't want to talk about that anymore because I don't want to give them any more sponsorship.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Coburn just types.
Yeah. It was a terrible job. You
Yeah.
just sat there and you just scanned items 24/7, and so like I don't want to work there. I just time and it was close. And a Coburn Special is when one of your broskies hits you up to go do something that sounds way more fun. So you call into Coburn's with a list of excuses.
I think your grandma died at one point.
Grandma was in the hospital at one point.
Wait, really sad note. She actually did die. Like,
but that was
later. We did the old hospital special, and she actually did die.
But that was way later.
That was way later.
Fine, yeah.
But like we kind of jinxed it.
Yeah. And anyways, so there was that. It was. I think I only did like not feeling good like twice.
Yeah.
And then one of them was I hit the ditch on the way to work because it was snow. And then there was a couple more. We cleaned out our cars one time, and I remember I was talking to this pretty fine girl. It was November. Remember No Not November? Yep.
Yep.
I wouldn't say she's like that fine.
I'd say she's pretty fine.
Okay, yeah.
Well, you can just say she was pretty fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be talking to her, and I remember I'd be like, David, it's a 2-man job to go visit her, and she did. I mean, I'm not saying she backed out, but I'm just saying, like, family stuff came up with her. She just didn't back out of hanging out. And so I always ask David.
Oh, yep. Now I know who we're talking about.
Yeah, so,
I thought we were talking about someone else for a second.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're talking about someone else. Now we're on the same page. She's really fine, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying she backed out of hanging out. I'm just saying that there was some family issues every time we hung out.
Yeah.
Every time there was some
borderline just shit excuse. Like
borderline.
Yeah,
borderline.
yeah.
It was like it's like not wanting to hang out and like actually real issues, and it was like it was like right there. But it's still.
I mean,
excuse.
like with the excuses, you still could have hung out. Yeah, like it would have been understandable if you didn't because of them, but like you still could have. You know what I mean?
You still could have.
At least that.
They're probably made up.
Yeah,
but like
at least once.
so it was a 2-man job to go down there, right, David? It was a 2-man job.
Yeah.
I need the buddy there.
Yep.
And
She moved away.
yep, she's gone. Fuck this, dude.
I remember her because I first met her. I was working at Coburn's, and it was later in the night. And
Oh yeah, that's how we found
Yup,
her at Coburn's.
She came in with 2 pails of ice cream, and her card kept getting declined over and over again, right? Like some Hallmark kind of shit. And like then we decided to move registers, and we did, and she finally got it. And she must have seen my name tag, and like checked me out on Instagram.
Just stop. Well, because yours is first option. But.
Yeah, but like we talked for maybe 5 minutes, but I was in a relationship at the time, so I didn't really talk to her at all. You know, because I actually respect relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was like, yeah, whatever. And then we just had a streak. And then one day Jackson was looking for some biddies.
I needed some biddies. I needed some for the palette, right? For the palette.
Yeah, for the roster.
Yep.
Yep. And so I started sending him some snaps over, and I sent him that one, and then he talked to that person. There's a couple other people, but mainly that.
Yeah,
person.
there was a lot on the roster sheet that I just had a bench.
Yep.
Had a bench, a couple of them.
Couple of players took off the bench.
And then when they left the team, I had to bring the bench up.
Yeah.
We're not ready for that conversation yet.
Yeah. But yeah.
That was that, dude. The Coburn Special. I mean, I told you we weren't going to get into it, but we had to.
Yeah.
It was a short description.
It just kind of got brought up.
So
like,
if you ever hear Coburn Specials again, then you know that.
like it's like not going to work that day.
You know it's not going.
Some shit excuse is gonna be pulled.
So if we say we pulled the Coburn Special and make this video, like
it means
you have to give us a like or some respect, you know. Yeah.
And then maybe next time we can get up to the to why we have this arrangement set up and what it's all about.
Yeah, you can't admit this setup right here.
This got to be in the top tier of setups on YouTube.
Dude, we're gonna forever keep this.
Who else do you know sits on an old van seat?
Couch behind them.
Couch behind it.
What that?
Whatever that is.
And then
whatever this is.
And this computer barely works, but
it's just a one kind thing.
It's just set up.
Yeah, it's just its own thing.
So, I mean, like, other than that, I mean, that's all we really got today. I know it's a pretty short video, but, like, we got some more stories coming, and we'll be sending some more out. We're thinking about, like, we're going to put some time into it, so maybe once a week for now.
Yeah, depending on how it goes.
We're both pretty busy. I mean, I got the ladies, and...
I actually have a job.
Okay, so we'll get into that next episode. We're getting into that next episode. It's been Ite. It's been your boy, Jackson.
It's been David.
Yeah.
All right.
Signing off.
Signing off.
Yeah.
With the bleach there.